Hello, this is Batman McGrath, also known as Marjo Wicked or Mr. Bubbles on Twitter. Um, I just wanted to take the mask off for a second. Yeah, face reveal and everything. Hello, but this next video I'm doing, it's kind of long. It turned out to be like an hour long video, over an hour. I think it was like an hour and 6 minutes, give or take. And it's the reason for that is I don't like just like cutting parts out of people's videos. I like putting their whole video up and responding to the whole thing, every point that they're making instead of just a point here or there. Um, and so because of that, and this chick had a lot to say. It's about free speech, so of course there's a lot, and I am very passionate about free speech. I think of myself as a free speech advocate. So I talk a lot in this. There is a lot that I'm saying. Another thing about this is I am definitely overplaying a lot of my reactions. I am cussing a lot more, and I am being a little bit more of a dick for a reason. It, being a and it's in a nutshell because I get kind of scatterbrained throughout this. I got interrupted a lot, and so I got a little scatterbrained. But in a nutshell, but the point I'm making is that being mean doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. And that's why you shouldn't silence people for being mean, for saying mean things. You can say mean things and make a valid point, which I kind of do. I get it out there that there is people throughout history who we look up to and think of as influential people that were in their time offensive and stuff like that. But that's a later thing. It's going to be in one of the videos, yada yada yada. But I just wanted to explain why this is just a four part. It's going to be a four-part thing, and that's why I'm kind of a dick. And yeah, that's about it. And so I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. So my last video, I did a response to Super Princess Tea Party, and it was Hitler's penis and Trump's penis thing, where she pretty much said Hitler fucking did the Holocaust and everything because he had a weird dick, and fucking that's why Trump is the way he is because he has a weird dick. Her whole video was just nothing but slander and just fucking talking shit. Um, and so I came across this video uh, early this morning about quote unquote free speech, and so yeah, I think we should watch this and see what she has to say about free speech. I have a feeling if she actually sees this response, she's probably going to try and take away my free speech. But we'll just have to wait and see.
I just spoke myself hoarse filming this entire video.
What? I try not to fucking like talk shit about how people talk or anything, but seriously, the fuck did you just say?
I just spoke myself hoarse.
You just spoke yourself hoarse?
I just spoke myself hoarse.
I cannot. That's literally what you just said. I just spoke myself hoarse.
I just spoke myself hoarse.
Is this a phrase or something? I don't know what this means. I really don't. And I'm not trying to be a dick. If I'm wrong on what I'm hearing, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to poke fun at this. I really want to know what the fuck you're saying here. Like I said, if it's a turn of phrase, I've never heard of it. Please, if you do see this, at the very least, this one part, can I get a real answer at what you said and what it means? Because it sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting turn of phrase. I just spoke myself hoarse. I kind of want to start saying that to people. Hey, I just spoke myself hoarse. Okay, let's get on with this.
And my microphone was not plugged in all the way. So that's just internally screaming. But I would like to I just want to make a few points about free speech. We're going to revive the Smarty Pants Trash Mouth playlist for a time because I have some things to say about this. There is a lot of conflict online that I feel is unneeded because first of all, people don't understand free speech, but they also...
We understand free speech just fine. It's people like you that don't understand free speech. Here it is, plain and simple. The First Amendment guarantees freedoms concerning religion, expression, and assembly, and the rights to petition. It forbids Congress from both promoting one religion over others and also restricting an individual's religious practices. It guarantees freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press of the or the rights of individuals to speak freely. It also guarantees the rights of citizens to assemble preachably and to petition their government. Sorry about the stutter, I have dyslexia. So, this is the problem. We understand it just fine. There it is, plain and simple. You're the one that doesn't understand it. You're the one that has a problem with free speech because your fifis get hurt when people say things. That's your problem with it. But you have the right to be offended. We have the right to offend. Simple as that.
They seem to believe that there is a war on free speech because, I don't know, if Alex Jones told you, perhaps.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Got no fucking clue who the fuck Alex Jones is. I really don't. I've never heard any of his shit. I don't know him. So maybe he did come up with some weird theory. The reason people think there is a war on free speech because of people like Anita Sarkeesian and fucking Zoe Quinn, who literally went to the fucking UN to get people banned because they called them liars and said mean things to them. That's why people say there's a war on fucking free speech. Are you really that closed off? I just admitted I'm closed off. I don't know who the fuck Alex Jones is. I'm coming up with this shit by myself. I'm seeing this shit. I'm seeing it happen. I'm making my own opinion. Where the fuck are you getting your shit from?
Perhaps Breitbart, maybe Sam Harris.
Again, no fucking clue what this shit is. I know Breitbart. Is that how you say it? Breitbart? I didn't know that. But I know Breitbart is that publication that fucking Milo Yiannopoulos, however the fuck you say his name, fucking worked at, is a journalist for. That's it. Never read one of their shits. I've never even read one of fucking Milo's fucking articles. So, again, the fuck's your point? None of this matters.
One of those men, I'm sure, has said something about a war on free speech, just like the war on drugs, or the war on terror, or the war on Christmas. There's always a fucking war on something.
Yeah, I can agree. A lot of those were fucking stupid. You know, they really were. But here's the thing, though. When a person goes to the UN and says, there are people out there that say I'm a liar and they discredit everything that I do, they poke holes in everything that I say, and they have shown time and time again that I don't know what I'm doing, please ban them so they can never do that again. That is pretty much declaring war on free speech. They're going to the UN and they're literally trying to get the UN to force people to not say bad things about them. How do you not get that? How does that not scare you a little bit? I mean, seriously, do you really think that if the UN was to seriously do that, if the government was to start silencing people because they don't have good ideas, they say mean things or something, do you really think you would be safe? Do you really think that, you would be one of the ones that are spared from it? No, you wouldn't be. Why does it not piss you off? Like, seriously, what the fuck is your problem?
Here's the thing that you know what? We're going to start with a quiz.
I loved this part. I really do. First off, it's not a quiz, it's a question. Okay? Now, in her defense, she did re-release another video for this part and called it a thought experiment, which it more is. It is more of a thought experiment and everything, but it has a simple answer, and she didn't like the answer she got, so that's why she had to, put in more information, hoping she would get a different answer from people, but it's still the same answer. So I'll let her ask it, and then I will answer it.
We're going to start with a quiz. And some of you may remember this quiz from Silent Hill Shattered Memories, because I'm a gigantic fucking nerd like that, sue me.
Yeah, we could tell you're a nerd. Like, this is the second video I've seen of yours, and I knew Well, like, granted, the other one where you were talking about dicks, I didn't know you were a nerd. You had Wolfenstein up, but I figured that was just because you were talking about Nazis. But seeing you in this, I could totally tell you're a nerd. And yeah, that's just going by your looks, how you talk and everything. You're super princess, blah blah blah. I can totally tell you're a nerd, and it's fine. There's no problem with being a nerd. I'm a nerd too. I'm a fucking geek. Granted, I didn't know what type of nerd you were. I wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know exactly what type of nerd you are. No, no. I didn't know you were a video game nerd or a comic nerd or anything like that. I could just tell that you were a nerd. And I'm not going to lie. You're a pretty attractive nerd. If it wasn't for these, I met you on the street, and we would probably geek out on a whole lot of stuff. And yeah.
And if you took that quiz, feel free to just transfer your answer to here. There is a princess who lives in a kingdom, and her father says, "I'm going to marry you off to this dude you don't know in another land. Deal with it." And she says, "No, I don't want to. You can't do that." And he's like, "Fuck you. I'm king. I do what I want." So she runs away. She leaves the palace. She runs straight into a pasture where there is a bull, and the bull tramples her and kills her. The question is, who is responsible for her death? Is it the bull who trampled her? Is it the princess who ran into the pasture? Or is it the king who was forcing her into an unjust marriage? Feel free to leave your comment in the below your answer. I'd like to know your answer for that.
Now, I'll give my answer here in a second. Here's another thing to her credit. Something that I do appreciate of her, and I like. As far as I know, as of right now, of when I grabbed this video so I could do a response to it, her comments were up. She did not disable them. She wasn't trying to silence anybody. And I appreciate that a lot. Even, I didn't look, at the time there was only one other answer, and I answered it there as well. Like I said, I'll give my answer in a bit. But like I said, there's a lot of times when SJWs and anybody that is on the opposite side of me for the most part, they usually do turn off their comments and stuff because they don't like a lot of the things people are saying. So, like I said, I will give her this credit. I appreciate it. That is admirable. I really do love it that you did that. Please keep it up. Even if because if there is somebody, if I was to look there and I saw somebody fucking comment was like, "Fuck you, bitch. It's the fucking woman's fault because she's a cunt." I would sit there and say, "Dude, you're a fucking dick. That's not how this works." But regardless, I do appreciate that. Now, to answer the question, it is the princess's fault. I'm sorry, it's just plain and simple. I could, put up the video of you giving more information, but it still doesn't change the answer. She chose to run away. She chose to run in that direction. She chose to ignore the signs, which you say there are in the other video. There are signs saying, "Hey, there's a bull here. Don't come near." She chose, for the most part, to ignore her surroundings and get trampled by the bull. It's simple as that. If and like in your other question, when you redid the question, I gave an answer again. If you can prove that the king or the prince manipulated her into going, like it was some big elaborate plan and everything, and their goal was to get her to run away and die, then yeah, it would be their fault. But that's not the case. She chose to run away. And I know, that's a whole fucking choose to be in a relationship you don't like where you're most likely going to get raped and shit like that, or fucking run away and die. But that's still a choice. It is her choice in this whole thing. So, there's no other answer. It is her fault. She died. Simple as that. I'm sorry you don't like the answer. I'm sorry if it offends you. I'm sorry if, you want it to be the king or the bull or the prince or whatever. But if this was to get taken to like a court of law, it would be her fault. Sure, they probably would, because that's another way that our fucking laws work. Somebody has to be blamed. They would probably blame the guy who owned the bull because he had a bull or some shit. But nevertheless, when it comes down to it, it is her fault. So yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Because it tells you a lot about your feelings about justice and your feelings about people in general.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's a hypothetical question. It's a thought exercise. You're supposed to think of all the angles and everything and look at everything objectively. And that's it. That's all it is.
Free speech is one of those really hard topics to talk to people about because people are usually so incredibly fucking polarized. There's this sort of delusion about absolute free speech that a lot of people have right now, and I honestly think it comes from a place of like sort of naivety, and I don't mean that to disparage people at all, but it does, it comes from like this weird sort of closed ideas about their speech. Like, it's really, they seem very, very concerned that people will not let them have their ideas. They don't really care if other people get to say what they want. I mean, they do, but they don't, right?
This is showing how you don't understand fucking free speech. Okay? Just because you don't like what somebody says doesn't mean you have the right to silence them. Any side, anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what your ideology is, what you fucking believe in, what your religion is, what fucking gender you are, or anything. You cannot silence somebody you don't just because you don't like their opinion. We have things now when somebody is actually being abusive or harassing, when somebody is wishing harm upon you or your family, you can block them. Yeah, you might have to block some odd thousand people because of whatever fucking reason, but you can still fucking block these people when you come across it. There is plenty of times I get on Twitter and I'm looking through it and I just fucking turn Twitter off because there is just too much stupid shit going on. I just can't fucking deal with it. Is that me silencing people? No. They're still able to go and say the stupid shit they want. I am just able to ignore it at that time, which you can do as well. All right? It's not something of people saying, "Oh, I want to be heard, but you can't say anything. I don't want to listen to you," because I do most of the time. It's just there are limits to stupidity, but I'm not going to tell these people, "No, you can't say that because you're too stupid." That's not how this fucking works. I mean, God, you're not understanding free speech. I mean, it's like if I was to tell you, you can't you can't go to a certain place because you have glasses. That's not right. That's not cool. That's not American. And that's what I can't even.
Not in action. They say it in words, like they care, but in action, they don't actually. That's been my experience, at least.
And whoop-dee, that's your experience. I also have not had good experiences online with people of different genders or different ideas or anything like that. Especially with this last election, it has turned almost everybody into a giant fucking bigot because people don't want to hear the other point of view. They don't want to hear the other side. Mostly coming from progressives and fucking leftists and shit, but also on the right, also the center, also fucking yada yada yada, throughout the whole spectrum. There is a bunch of people that are just tired of hearing shit from the other side. Every side, every person is like, well, no, your side does all the riots, blah, 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 well, my side doesn't. Or your side does this, well, my side doesn't. Your side does this, well, my side doesn't. But guess what? They're all fucking doing it. They're all doing fucked up shit. Fucking throughout the history of the internet, as soon as that first fucking dial tone went out and somebody was able to talk to somebody else somewhere else, they fucking started fucking with each other. That's all it fucking is. It's just people fucking with each other. We can't go outside and really joke around like we can on the internet. It is a totally different language. You need to realize that. It is not real life. That's why people say it's just the internet. It's just Twitter. It's just Facebook. It's just a video game. It's just a comic. It's just this. It's just that. Because it's fucking different. It's not real life. If somebody goes and offs themselves because somebody said you're a fucking idiot, I'm sorry. This might make me a horrible person. This is just my point of view, but that's the person that offs themselves' fault. Nobody forced them to. Nobody forced them to be a baby. That is a long-term solution for a short-term bullshit problem. Go fuck yourself.